Tonight, some stunning allegations about a man who's trained local and federal law enforcement officers, taught at the U of O, and speaks out against sex trafficking.
Yeah, there's even a movie about this guy. We did a story with him just last month, and only on 6, our reporter Alexis Del Cid investigates who exactly is Bill Hillar.
Bill Hillar gained national attention, sharing the horrific story of the murder of his daughter by sex traffickers in the 80s. On his resume, he says he's a retired colonel for the U.S. Army. But now there's an investigation into whether he's telling the truth about any of his past. A retired colonel of the U.S. Army Special Forces who said he served in Asia, the Middle East, Central and South America. Bill Hillar's resume is impressive. The story he tells about the murder of his teenage daughter, gut-wrenching.
And I never saw her again. They just threw her body in the South China Sea.
Now, Koin Local 6 has confirmed through a source in law enforcement there's an investigation into whether Bill Hillar fabricated his military career and the story about his daughter being murdered.
All the girls that trusted him with their stories of being trafficked, that's criminal in itself.
Over the years, Seroptimist International Chair Michelle Bart says various organizations like hers have footed his travel bills or paid him to speak at various functions for sex trafficking survivors. And until recently, Bill Hillar served on the board of directors for at least 2 Pacific Northwest nonprofits that work to stop sex trafficking. Both of those organizations say they've cut ties with Hillar.
Shock, disbelief. I didn't want to believe it.
Compassion to One co-founder Steve Gutzler says the allegations are heartbreaking.
It saddens you, it angers you.
The investigation began with Brian Hubbs, who took one of the human trafficking courses Hillar taught at the Monterey Institute of International Studies in California.
There were just some, inconsistencies in some of the stories that he was telling. The story of how his daughter, had been murdered. One of the stories, the dominant story, was that she was murdered in Borneo. But in the human trafficking course that I took, he mentioned that she was murdered in Mexico City.
Hubbs filed a Freedom of Information request with the United States Army to verify Hillar's military background. Documents verified by the United States Army show there is no evidence Hillar ever received special operations training. In fact, the only public record Koin Local 6 has obtained shows Hillar served in the Coast Guard Reserve for 8 years, more than 40 years ago. This week, the Monterey Institute pulled Hillar from its website and admitted to Koin Local 6 it's in the process of investigating and researching the issue. A spokesperson for the University of Oregon confirms it also is investigating Hillar. Hillar's bio and recent course syllabus have also been pulled from the U of O website, but a cached version shows Hillar worked as an adjunct professor teaching various courses to students there. The university spokesperson also confirms Hillar never got a PhD from the University of Oregon as claimed on his resume. And in addition to teaching students, the Oregon Department of Public Safety Standards and Training says Bill Hillar has trained local and federal law enforcement agencies across America.
Police chiefs, sheriffs, 911 managers, corrections leaders.
Director Eric Skablik says no background check was ever done on Hillar because he's not an employee, he's a private contractor. Hillar, who lists his address as Massachusetts, has not returned our phone calls to comment on the accusations. A source close to the investigation tells Koin Local 6 Hillar isn't returning calls, letters, or emails from law enforcement either. Alexis Del Cid, Koin Local 6.
Boy, now our law enforcement source also says if these allegations against Hillar are proven to be true, then there will likely be a criminal investigation because he has received money based on claims about his personal and his professional past for several years.